everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Hecht Creative. Today we're going over some Nickelodeon Avatar figures. Regular Aang, Glider Aang, and Avatar State Aang from McFarlane Toys. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Now let's get to it. Here's the box for Aang. It looks awesome. We have Avatar: The Last Airbender up top, Nickelodeon 6+. We have Aang over here in his Avatar state, looking really cool. On the bottom, we have Aang, McFarlane Toys, all these little legalese stuff on the bottom as well. On the back, we have Aang with this huge bio over here that you can read probably right over here if you want to. A nice picture of Aang over there, a barcode, and now let's check out Aang. Opening the box should be pretty simple. You just rip it open. That's kind of it. Very, actually, simply easy. It's really nicely done. You just rip this open to reveal the figure inside, and we have Aang's head. Looks really nice. I love how this thing looks. The ears are really great. I love the sculpt on those. Really awesome. The arrow is really well done too. I love the paint on this. There's a little smudging back there or something, and the ears look nice in the back as well. And the face is a little bit big, I would think, with the features. The mouth is kind of big. The eyes are super wide. I love the eyebrows too. They look wonderful, and the eyes themselves are really nice and very detailed. The articulation is good, at least up down a little bit, not too much up and down. It's kind of a shame, but side to side is really good, and the pivot is good as well. Nice head sculpt. The orange vest or jacket or whatever this is really nicely done. I love the texture on it. It looks like actual leather. It's super cool. A really nice piece that is awesome. It just really makes this figure, I think. The matte texture on the belt is really nice too, as well as the undershirt. It's awesome. The arrows on his hands are really great, but my problem is the articulation. It doesn't really do that much or work that great. A single jointed elbow with no swivel and no wrist swivel or anything. You do get a swivel for this, but that's basically it. Not really that much of articulation, but a lot of nice sculpt and paint. The legs are really great too and go into some wonderful splits over here. Very nice. We also can go up and back this far, as well as single joint knee. Not that great. It's a shame, with no real swivel that much. Not really too great in the swivel department. There you go. Just gonna break it up, and nothing for the foot. He cannot stand that well as a result. I do love the paint for this. It's really nicely done, as well as the sculpt. Looks like braided rope or something for his pants or boots or whatever these are, but it's just super nice with the paint, at least on the insides. It's a really great piece, but a shame the articulation doesn't live up to the hype. We also have Aang's airbending staff as an accessory. It's really nicely done. I love the quarteredness of it. It's very nice. We also have little dots over here and here, as well as outcroppings here and here. It is also pretty rubbery. It won't really break and is a great accessory for Aang. And as far as making Aang hold his airbending staff, you can just give it to him like so, feed it through, and it works out pretty okay. He can't really dual wield it with both hands, so to kind of like pretend a little bit, and even then it doesn't really want to work. The bendedness does kind of help you put it into place, and yeah, this is the best I can do. Here's Aang in his Avatar state. I really like how this figure looks, and the head sculpt is very cool. I really love this thing. Aang on the bottom, all the legalese you ever need down here. Avatar, Nickelodeon. Aang in the Avatar state, matching the packaging right over here. On the back, we have Aang in his Avatar state. A large bio you can read if you want to, as well as some legalese on the bottom. And now let's check out Aang in his Avatar state. Like always, opening the packaging is pretty simple. You just open it up and get your figure from the inside. It is a little difficult to do from the top because it just wants to hang on to that top. But you open it up and you get Aang's head is very shiny, and I'm not talking about the Avatar state form. I do think it is a very glossy plastic they're using for this for some reason. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do like the eyebrows, although this one's a little bit off painted, and I think that this isn't painted as well as it could be. This Avatar stripe, the arrow up here. The articulation is fine, a little bit less stiff than the other Aang, but yeah, same head sculpt, glossier plastic, not as good, I don't think. The body is pretty much the same as the previous Aang, but he does come with a pointing finger. That looks pretty cool, and the arrows are differently colored, showing him in his Avatar state. Articulation's all the same basically, but a little bit tighter for some reason, and a little bit less forgiving. Not really that great in my opinion, and it's kind of weird how much worse this cooler figure is for me. And the legs are the same, but once I loosen up the joints, they're actually a little bit better. You do get a lot of nice articulation too out of these, but nice is just the only key word. It isn't great, it isn't amazing, it isn't spectacular, it's just there. And the airbending staff is basically the same, but a little more bendy this time around. There's a bend to mine for some reason, I'm not sure why. And he can't really hold it in two hands, which is kind of a shame. That's a real bummer. But yeah, it's just okay, I guess. This is kind of disappointing, this figure. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. And amidst all my studio lighting, here is Aang with his glider. We have Aang over here, his staff, the glider itself, Aang in the avatar state over here. On the side, we have Aang with glider. On the back, we have Aang on his glider looking really cool with a nice little bio over here that you can read if you want to and pause. We also have Nickelodeon Avatar The Last Airbender. On the side, we have Nickelodeon Avatar The Last Airbender, as well as Aang with glider, and made by McFarlane Toys. On the bottom is all the legalese you ever need. Now let's check out Aang with his glider. The safety scissors are back helping us out with this. It is hard to peel off this tape over here. Kind of a shame, but you do pull this open and you slide it all the way out of the box, giving it a yank, giving it a tug. This background is gorgeous, by the way. And we have the third iteration of the Aang head sculpt. And yeah, this plastic is pretty shiny, I gotta say. The mouth is wider open than the previous version. I don't know how they did that. The arrow is painted pretty well as well, with a little splooch back here, but I guess that is the curse of this Aang. You do get a nice swivel over here, as well as a tiny bit of up and down. They gotta fix that at least, McFarlane. Come on, and some nice pivot over here, but yeah, that mouth is wide open, as are those eyes. The body is the same as before, very nicely done. The only difference is he does have two slightly open hands with sort of pointy fingers. Maybe they'll help out with the staff. Let's find out in a second. The legs are the same. You just gotta break in that articulation by twisting this all the way around, and you kinda got it. It's really interesting, these legs. I wish they could redo them with better articulation for the feet at least, so your figures can at least stand. Against all odds, I actually figured out this can rotate, so hallelujah indeed. I can now make this kind of work, hopefully. No, it's just the wrist swivel needs to function at least. That's kind of a bummer. It's all just stuck there. That's a shame. Yeah, I wish there was a wrist swivel. It would really help with this staff. Same staff, by the way. We've seen it before. But through careful posing and a lot of gumption, I did get this to work, actually. He can hold it with both hands, but kind of weirdly. The big draw of this set, however, is the glider itself. It is really nicely done and very awesome. A beautiful piece over here. It's really nice. The texturing is super wonderful on this. I mean, look at it! It's just wonderful. Really nice. Oh my gosh. It's like you could tell it was made out of the material it's made out of. Different texturing is so key in action figure creation. The paint is just okay over here, just right over here, but man, for the rest of it, it's just super nicely done. Well done, McFarlane, and well done, Nickelodeon, for guiding them. And through some careful posing, I did manage to get Aang on his glider. It works out pretty well, even though you have to really finagle those arms. But yeah, I do think the glider is way too small for him. It should be bigger, at least by half or so of the size this is. Yeah, it isn't really a letdown. It's just okay. I can understand the action figure, the price point and everything, but make it a little bit bigger so it matches the picture on the back of the box. How hard is that, McFarlane? And here we have Aang, Aang, and Aang, regular Aang, glider Aang, and avatar state Aang. Aang stands at about 5 inches tall or so, while Aang over here stands at around 5 inches tall, and Aang over here stands at about, I would say, 5 inches tall, with the glider being at around 6 inches tall, and the wingspan of the glider being at around, I would say, 5 inches tall or so, and at least for the staff, it's around 6 inches long. Overall, too much angst. As someone who has watched Avatar in 2020 and really enjoyed it, I'm very excited about these figures. All three Aangs are very well done in terms of sculpt and paint, but I think articulation leaves a lot to be desired. If they had even wrist articulation and ankle pivot, they would be amazing and really well done. But as they are, even with all the differences, I find them to be not too great. And I hope this bed articulation doesn't become a running theme as I go through these Avatar figures. For a quick ranking, I would place the glider Aang over the regular Aang over the Avatar state Aang. If you're a fan of the Nickelodeon Avatar series, I would highly recommend getting the glider Aang. He's at least cool in a pose. As for the rest of the Aangs, I don't think I'd really recommend them, seeing as there's another Aang down the line in a 2-pack that might be better than these. But make no mistake, we're just getting started with Avatar figures this month as we lead up to the Netflix series. So which figure here is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also visit us at jessehechtcreative.com for more reviews like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and keep being creative. Stay tuned.